Hello, in this video I'm going to quickly demonstrate a technique that I use on my models to create kind of a textured stone effect. It can be used in a variety of different ways. I call it glopping. It's really kind of a stippling, I guess. But anyway, I'll show you how I do it, and these are just a few models that I've used it on before. These are some paintings I've used the technique on as well. So you can see that the paint ends up in these raised little peaks, and it's just a really useful way to add some texture to your models and to create a stone effect. So here we go, glopping. Um, I'm just using a piece of watercolor paper that I had lying around to do this on instead of an actual model, because I think that you'll be able to see it more clearly. I'm using a flat brush because flat brushes work best and you don't damage the brush during the process. Just normal acrylic paints, hobby paints really, black and white for this demonstration, but you can use a number of colors at once. Sometimes I use as many as 4 colors at once. So what you do is you take a big blob of paint and you plunk it down using the flat side of the brush, scoop up another color and plunk it down. And directly on the model, or the paper in this case, you just move the brush up and down. I'm not using the tip of the brush, I'm using the flat of the brush. And you just move it up and down through the paint and you create peaks really. The more you do it, the more the colors mix. If you use different size brushes, you get different size peaks. As I'm doing this on models, I will often rotate the model in all directions to get lots of different directional peaks. I will also add more black in areas where I want shadows and more white where I know that I want more highlights, so that it's kind of the shading done for me that way. Sometimes I'll do this to a model with just kind of like spare paint, which is usually a mixture of gray, if I'm going to put another color on top of it, just to create texture. And texture adds a lot to your model. It does take a wee while to dry, but it's worth it in the end to get that effect. So this is kind of the end of the demonstration. I've kind of made a gradient for you with more black on one side, more white on the other. And again, if you want it remixed or whatever, you just keep sticking your brush in it until it's the way you want it to look, really. It's not very technical. And here you can see how large the peaks are, how thick the paint is. A lot of the water that's in the paint, because it's acrylic paint, it's water-based, will evaporate out of there, so those peaks will not be as large on the model or the paper as they look when they're wet. And here it is dried. The colors definitely do change a fair bit. They darken up, and as you can see, the peaks have reduced in size, but they're still quite textured. And that's pretty much it. That's glopping. So yeah, hopefully this is useful to someone, and bye.